a very beautiful incident that happened.
There's a guy who, I wrote about it later. They were in the concentration camp in Germany at that time, World War II. And every day they come and call numbers. Those numbers are going to the gas chamber. So when they call out numbers, people hide under this, that, they'll be dragged, beaten and taken. It's a horrible thing. So you don't know, tomorrow your numbers may be called. Every day they live in terror. Tomorrow it could be my number. Because they have a certain capacity for the gas chamber. They can only take that many numbers per day. And also for the world, they don't want to look like a whole concentration camp died in one day. They died slowly out of sickness and illness and this and that. So every day 15, 20 numbers will be called and they have to go. So one day, there is a young man, his number is called. The guy's terrified, he doesn't want to go, he's shivering and crying and this. A rabbi came up to him and said, "Son, don't fear this like this." And he took off his shirt, gave it to him, "You wear my shirt with my number, I'll wear yours." In that fear and that overwhelmed with the possibility of death, he took out his shirt and gave it to him. The rabbi wore the shirt and went to the gas chambers. A few days later, the war ended and this man lived. And, somebody actually wore your shirt and went. He could have lived. And this fellow, his whole life was transformed because of this, that this rabbi actually walked to death, knowing fully well where he's going, no chance.
When a man is like this, for him attaining is no problem. He doesn't have to go and die in the gas chamber, but just being like this, that I'm willing to keep myself aside and do what's needed right now, just very casually, no big fanfare about it. Now for this man, knowing the ultimate is not far away, it is very simple. Gautama said, when you're really hungry, when you badly need food, if you give away your food to somebody else, you will become stronger, not weaker. No logical human being would accept such nonsense, but it's 100% truth. If you know how to give away that which matters most to you at a certain moment, it leaves you enormously capable, enormously strong, not weak. To have that strength to give away what matters to you is not a small strength, it's a tremendous strength, isn't it? To give away things which don't matter to you, that means nothing. To give away that which matters most to you is everything, isn't it? Right now, what matters most to you is yourself, of course, isn't it? You say, no, my child, my husband, my wife, it's not true. What matters most to you is yourself, isn't it? If you can give yourself up, if you can just throw yourself into something, not because it is going to buy you a ticket to heaven, not because you will realize mukti out of it, not because of anything, simply to give away. You know, Ramana said, Atmagnanam ati sulabham. Knowing the ultimate, self-knowledge is the easiest thing. It is, if you know how to keep yourself aside.
When we make an attempt to break the threshold of where we are, it can lead to lots of confusion. For those aspects for which you have no answers, I will answer. Just deepen the question. Just make the question very intense within you. I will take care of the answer. What should you do to be enlightened? Now once again, enlightenment is not an achievement. Enlightenment is not going to the peak. Enlightenment is a homecoming. You come back to your original nature. Right now, you have identified yourself with many things that you are not, isn't it? Now, we were looking at this yesterday. What you call as my body is an accumulation that you slowly gathered, isn't it? When you were born, you were only so much, now you are so much. Why? You gathered your body slowly, accumulation. What you call as your mind is accumulation. Everything that you know around you is accumulation, isn't it? That means you are deeply, deeply identified with things that you are not. A piece of earth you picked up and made body out of it. But that piece of earth, you're so deeply identified, you believe it is you. Till you fall dead, you go on believing this, isn't it? Isn't it so? So right now, you have gotten distorted vision. If you stop your distortions and come back to your original nature, that's enlightenment. What do I have to do? There is really nothing to do. If you don't do anything, it will happen. But right now you have gotten into your mental state that there is no way you can do nothing. All the time you are out doing something. You think if you don't do anything, something will happen. Yes, it will happen, something fantastic will happen, but you have not allowed yourself in that state for a moment. So, to bring you to that state where you can do nothing, we will have to make you do many things. Otherwise, you won't sit in one place, isn't it? If you simply sit here and don't do anything, either with your body or with your mind or with your emotions, the reality of the existence will burst forth within you, nobody to stop it. It is just that you are constantly on. You have become such a slave of your mind. Endlessly it's going on. You can't stop it, you can't hold it, you can't do anything about it. Because once you get into the trap of the mind, it just goes on endlessly. It has its own momentum, you don't have to do anything about it. One day if you rev it up and leave it, it can go on for many years, picking up more and more momentum. It doesn't need your assistance anymore, isn't it so? Do you see this happening? People who are reasonably happy in the world are those people who got a little break from the nonsense in their head, that's all. They are not all the time like that. Some moments, they are not so messed up, so they're okay. If you don't mess yourself up, if you simply be here, you are enlightened. But you can't keep your hands off it all the time, it's on it. So slowly with yoga, all these postures will tie your hands up in such a way that you can't mess with it, because you're in a posture. Somehow, we'll do it to you somehow.